Hi everyone, Jon Mitchell here, Mayor of New Bedford, and this is another installment of the Mayor's Weekly Update. So we had some really good pieces of news coming out of the Port of New Bedford this week. So the first had to do with the North Terminal project. Now, the North Terminal is an area that you can't really see well from the street. It's near Herman Melville Boulevard, over kind of where the Whale's Tooth lot, the area where the train station is going to be built soon. And it's an area where there's a lot of fish houses and other businesses, but it's also an area where we're continuing to build out port infrastructure. And today's announcement, or this week's announcement, was that the New Bedford Port Authority awarded a contract to a local contractor, D.W. White, to build the North Terminal extension, which is about a $30 million project. It's a dock, in effect. It is, instead of a pier, it has a bulkhead. In other words, a big wall against which ships would pull up. And it'll be 450 feet long. There'll be an area extending back from the bulkhead, some roughly 200 yards or so it's a big square. But, so you might say, well, what's the big deal? The big deal is it just gives us more ability to pull ships up, and with more ships that can pull up, whether they're fishing vessels, offshore wind vessels, or other types of vessels, it means that we can support more maritime activity in the harbor. And when there's more maritime activity, that means more jobs for our residents. And that's, so, it's the construction of that kind of infrastructure that really makes ports go, and we're adding pieces along the way. The second story is an example of another one of those pieces, and that has to do with the former Eversource site, right? Everybody knows that site. Everybody's familiar with the smokestack, and that the kids like to call the big cigarette, and everybody knows the power plant, which at one point was proposed to be an aquarium, and then at another point was proposed to be a casino. It is being turned into a maritime facility, and it's being turned into a maritime facility by local investors headed up by Andrew Saunders, who's done a nice job pulling it all together. So of that 29-acre site, the city will be getting some of it for $1, not a bad deal. And most of the rest of it, just about all the rest of it, will be converted into an offshore wind staging and operations and maintenance facility. What's the significance of this? This is the second operations facility, or major laydown facility, for the offshore wind industry in the harbor. And as the offshore wind industry kicks off next year, this will put us in a much better position to take on more business. Again, the more port facilities that we have to make available to harbor users, the more jobs we can create. And it's really that direct of a connection. So this was the sale of a property for about $14 million, but there'll be tens of millions of dollars more invested into the property to get it ready. So we're really thrilled with that development, because it's really going to, our goal really is to make New Bedford the leading offshore wind port, just as we're the leading fishing port, because the two industries, to my mind, can work closely together and create jobs for our residents, which is really what we're seeking to do in the long run, to perpetuate all the things that we do as a city. So great news there. A lot more to come as time goes on, as that site is developed, as things are knocked down, as things are built. You'll see it all. The last thing I just want to say is I want to say thanks to those city councilors who this week approved the American Rescue Plan Act. Funds. They voted to accept those funds from the federal government. It's taken a very long time for that to happen. The matter had been stuck in the City Council Finance Committee for an inordinately long time, but fortunately it has been moved forward, and that allows the city to start investing in key things like open spaces and small businesses, and in parks in particular, and a whole host of things that we all want to see improve. So it's been very good working with Ian Abreu and the new chair of the Finance Committee, Brad Markey, the Ward 1 counselor, and all the counselors who supported it. I really want to thank them for moving it forward. Our city needs that money. It needs it to really continue to jumpstart our economy and move things forward. So much to come there. Stay tuned for more announcements about how that money's being invested in the weeks and months to come. Anyway, that's been the Mayor's Weekly Update. We'll see you next week.